Բարև ձեզ հարգելի բարեկամներ, Սփյուռքի ձայնը հեռուստահանդեսը դարձավ ձեզ հետ է։ Այսօրվա մեր հաղորդումը ուզում եմ սկսել ձեզ ներկայացնելով ամերիկահայ դոկումենտալիստ Բարեթ Մարոնյանին, որի ցեղասպանության որբերը փաստավավերագրական շարժանկարը վերջերս ցուցադրվեց Նյու Յորքում։
The HBU Young Professionals of Greater New York and the Armenian National Committee of New York co-sponsored a screening of the Orphans of the Genocide, created by four-time Regional Emmy Award winner filmmaker Bareth Maronyan. Prior to the screening of this groundbreaking 90-minute documentary, which was nominated for a Regional Emmy Award, Mr. Maronyan shared with the members of the audience some of the insights about the making of this film and described in detail the work of his production company. Bareth Maronyan was born in Beirut, Lebanon, raised in Cyprus, and currently resides in Coconut Creek, Florida, with his wife Lena and daughter Kalina. He has produced national and local documentaries, TV programs, and concerts in English and Spanish for PBS Network. His productions have aired over 250 TV stations nationwide. He is a four-time Regional Emmy Award winner, a Multi-Telly Award winner, and was nominated for a Latin Grammy. Mr. Maronyan has also produced numerous award-winning Armenian-themed documentaries, among them Gomidas Hayrik and The Wall of the Genocide. His next project is under the working title of Women of 1915, dealing with the plight of the Armenian women during the genocide and paying tribute to all of the non-Armenian women who came to the rescue of their sisters. The screening was concluded with a lively and emotionally charged Q&A, where members of the audience had an opportunity to share their questions, thoughts, and feelings with the filmmaker.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation on behalf of the HBU Young Professionals of Greater New York and the Armenian National Committee of New York. I thank you for opening our eyes and having us, hear the stories of the orphans of the genocide. If I may ask, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into filmmaking.
My background is photography, still photography. When I was growing up, I always loved photography, and then when I came to the States, I I should also say that I love theater and music. So basically, film production or TV production is kind of the combination of those three things that I've always loved, and that's how I got into film production or TV production.
But can you tell us about the film and the story behind it, the inspiration, how you went about researching and capturing all these stories?
The film is about more than 200,000 Armenian orphans that were left behind as a result of the Armenian genocide perpetrated by the Ottoman Turks during 1915. And this story wasn't really told before. There were little segments of these stories in different, in some books and some documents, but they were not really compiled as a whole. But, after 3 years of research, what I found myself, based on my research, is only the tip of the iceberg. And there is a lot to be told. There are a lot of stories. That's why we couldn't fit everything in the film, in the documentary, and one of the reasons why we published the book is because of that. We had to incorporate as much as the stories in the film, but again, there is always, time is an issue when you're producing a film, so we had to publish a book to tell the rest of the stories. But again, like I said earlier, what we found is the tip of the iceberg, and there is a lot to be told.
So can you tell us a little bit about other things that you've done and what your plans are for the future?
The previous one, I would say this one is I should maybe call it the most serious one, that I've done it on my own mostly. The others that I've done, which were on Armenian topics, were, I would call them experimental ones. And prior to that, if your question is about my background, I've worked for PBS for over 17 years, and I worked on American and Spanish documentaries or programs. And then at one point I decided that I should do a few stories or documentaries on Armenian topic, and this is one of them. Orphans of the Genocide is one of them.
And future plans?
Future plans, our next project that we're getting ready to launch is called, the working title is Women of 1915, and that's about the plight of the Armenian women during the genocide. That's partially what it is, and mainly it's about all those non-Armenian women who came to the rescue of their Armenian sisters. And those were Americans, British, Canadians, Scandinavians, even Australians.
Thank you very much. We wish you luck in all your future endeavors, and you will definitely have the support of the Armenian community. Good luck.
Orphans of the Genocide takes the viewer through never-before-seen archived footage and discovered memoirs of orphans who lived through the 20th century's first fully documented genocide. It profiles orphans while unveiling many orphanages where Armenians were housed in the Middle East. The film also explores the humanitarian efforts of the Armenian Near East Relief Organization by rescuing, feeding, and sheltering more than 150,000 documented Armenian genocide orphans between 1919 and 1926.
My grandmother experienced the genocide by her own eyes. She was in Mush in 1915, in July, when the Turkish soldiers shelled the city and destroyed her working field, destroyed her orphanage, destroyed her clinic.
They knocked the door and took us out, and we had to walk. And they took my father early. Only women and children left.
All the beautiful girls were victims of some kind, rape or theft or kidnapping. My mother said that they would use mud to rub on the faces of the beautiful women so they wouldn't look so attractive. Try to look like they had sores on their face, just to save them.
My mother would talk about that all the time. And she would say, in Armenian, why did God do this? And she lost her faith.
On June 26, 2010, close to 2,000 Canadian citizens gathered at the Cedar Vale Park Community Centre for the official unveiling of a plaque that designated the Georgetown Boys Farmhouse as a historic and protected municipal site.
Designated Property 2010, Cedar Vale Park. In 1923, Cedar Vale Farm was a site of Canada's first international humanitarian resettlement effort, rescuing orphans of the Armenian Genocide. It later became a United Church Girls' School, Heritage Halton Hills.
At the most crucial juncture of our history, Canada saved these children. This was not, in fact, a humanitarian action in the ordinary sense of the word. This was indeed a concrete expression of Canada's commitment to justice and human rights.
Justice and human rights. Two concepts, or their lack of, etched the destiny of hundreds of thousands of parentless children. Hundreds of thousands of orphans, Armenian orphans, orphans of the genocide. The year was 1915. The place, Anatolia. The persecutors were the Ottoman authorities, and the target, was the Ottoman citizens of Armenian ancestry.
Women and children were, of course, organized into caravans sent on the road towards Deir ez-Zor for their relocation. And en route, they fell victim. The women were raped, their goods, their money was stolen by either their escorts or by people along the way.
Deir ez-Zor, a desert located northeast of present-day Syria, known for its harsh climatic characteristics. 200 millimeters average yearly rainfall, scorching summer heat that generates frequent droughts, bitter cold, sub-zero weather. Talat Pasha, the interior minister, was well aware of the harsh conditions of Deir ez-Zor. On July 6, 1914, during a parliamentary debate, he refused to populate the area with Turkish Albanian refugees. About 10 months later, he gave the orders to relocate the Armenian citizens from Ottoman Turkey to Deir ez-Zor.
Through each town and each city that the Armenians would have passed through, local people, Kurds, Muslims, Turks, Arabs, would have identified pretty girls or young boys and would take them from the caravans and integrate them into their own households, sometimes as wives, sometimes as servants. But they were taken as children, and their families often would go on to die.
Consequently, the banks of the Euphrates River is dotted with hundreds of mass graves. To this day, human remains can be easily found in shallow mass graves and caves in Deir ez-Zor, El Raqqa, Ras Al Ain, and tens of other locations, all the way up to central Anatolia. Sabiha Gken, the first woman pilot in Turkey, was the adopted daughter of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the first president of Turkey. To this day, Sabiha Gken remains as an iconic figure and a symbol of Turkish womanhood, who was not only the first female pilot, but also the first female combat pilot. One of Sabiha's missions was the Dersim operation of 1938, when her squadron was assigned to bomb the Kurdish-populated region of Dersim. This operation cost tens of thousands of innocent lives. During the genocide of 1915, large numbers of Armenians took refuge in Dersim disguised as Kurds. A 2004 U.S. State Department report states, quote, "In February, the Hurriyet newspaper's publication of a report that Sabiha Gken, an adopted daughter of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, who was the country's first female pilot, was of Armenian descent, drew a number of racist public statements," unquote. The Hurriyet report was based on an article written in 2004 by Hrant Dink and published in the Agos Armenian newspaper in Istanbul, Turkey. The article revealed that Sabiha Gokchen's real name was Hatun Sebelisyan, an Armenian orphan of the genocide, and the daughter of Diruhi and Nerses Sebelisyan, whose father Nerses was killed during the 1915 genocide. In 1925, while living in an orphanage in Sabin, Hatun Sebelisyan was adopted by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, president of Turkey. The publication of the article created an uproar amongst government circles in Turkey. Journalist Hrant Dink was labeled a traitor for unveiling Sabiha Gokchen's secret, which was based on a first-account testimonial from Sabiha's niece, Hripsime Gazaryan. Sabiha's Armenian ancestry has long been a common knowledge among the Armenians. This is an article published in August of 1970 in an Armenian magazine discussing the secrets of Atatürk's daughter. This and similar articles penned by the Armenian journalist Hrant Dink sparked a series of hate mail and threats against his life. In 2007, Dink was assassinated in Istanbul, Turkey, when a gunman shot him in broad daylight in front of his office building. Dink's funeral procession united the Armenian and Turkish citizens in what is believed to be one of the largest funerals ever held in modern Turkey. At his funeral, 200,000 mourners marched in protest of the assassination, chanting, "We are all Armenians, and we are all Hrant Dink."